on, guys? How you doing? I'm back with another video, and today I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about the top 10 least used cards in Clash Royale. Now, please keep in mind the cards in this video today are not bad. It simply means players prefer another card currently in the meta. So if you see one of your favorite cards in this list, then it doesn't mean you have to stop using it. I myself include some of these cards in my decks, and it doesn't mean the deck is horrible. So yeah. Also, the stats in this video are based on all arenas combined, in case you're wondering. And one last thing, if you guys want to go ahead and enter my monthly giveaway for the month of May, make sure to like and comment to be entered, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. The Goblin Hut. Costing only 5 elixir, I think it's safe to say it's relatively cheap. It's the same cost as a Balloon, Executioner, Giant, and many more cards. But the days when spawner decks were huge are now gone. This is because Supercell ended up decreasing every building's lifetime and hit points because of too many complaints. It doesn't mean the Goblin Hut is bad though. If you leave one unattended on one side, it can do some pretty decent damage, and trying to take care of it can sometimes ruin the way you play your deck. Like all the other cards on this list, it has its place in certain decks, but at the moment it's currently being placed in only 2.4% in all decks. The Dark Prince. I've mentioned in many videos that the Dark Prince was once a very popular card. You would probably see it in like a third of all matches. But when Clash Royale nerfed the Double Prince P.E.K.K.A strategy, the Dark Prince was left in a weird spot. And as new cards began to be added, it slowly fell. But my favorite part about the Dark Prince is its splash hit effect. Unlike the regular Prince, the Dark Prince can take out a small group of troops. It definitely has its advantages and it's a fairly decent card, but as of May 2017, the card is being placed in only 2.3% of all decks. The Expo. There's no doubt that the Expo is good. The past 2 months we've seen an increase in siege decks with either the Mortar or the Expo, and I gotta say, those decks work. But that's the problem with the Expo. You can't really just place it in any deck and expect it to be boss. It's pretty expensive. And I think you all know by now, but the Expo has been nerfed a lot of times. It even used to shoot air, but now it takes a while to deploy, it can't shoot air, and its hit points and lifetime has been decreased by a lot, landing it at 1.5% usage rate. But like I said, the Expo is still good, especially in grand challenges. It can be a little hard to go against these. The Heal Spell. This is probably the newest card on this list, and I understand it's the last card you unlock in the entire game. So for this one, we're going to be looking at 3 numbers, not just one basic usage rate. The first one is for all arenas. This includes people over 3,000 cups and the people who got it from the draft challenge when the Heal Spell first came out. It currently stands at 1.4%. Now let's take a look at Arena 10, the first arena to unlock it. It's currently at 2.7%. And finally, for Arena 11, it's at an extremely low 1%. Now, the Heal Spell is not a bad card. I've made deck videos with it, and in my opinion, it fits perfectly in some decks, like Hog Cycle. Personally, I don't have anything bad to say about the Heal Spell. I find it a pretty nice card. So, I want you guys to comment below and let me know on your opinion for the Heal Spell. The Guards. I actually used to have a deck with the Guards not so long ago, so I guess I'm part of the very few people that actually use it. But besides being able to survive a rocket hit and shield themselves, I have to agree, but they're easy to counter and the damage they do, it's not much. The card came out a very long time ago, and currently, as of mid 2017, they have a 1.4% usage rate. The Dark Goblin. This card is fairly new as well, in some way. It was added as the first official card for Jungle Arena, and to be honest, it kinda seems like it was a year ago, but it's only been this year. This is a great card for minor and zap bait decks, and that's because people tend to use the log to take it out, and therefore they can't use the log to take out some other smaller troops because they just use their log. But even though the card is relatively good, the vast majority of Clash Royale players seem to pick up better options, like the Princess or just regular goblins. This puts the Dark Goblin at a 1% usage rate. The Mortar. Much like the Expo, the Mortar is very popular for siege decks, but it's a bit less used. The Mortar wasn't always down on the list though. It had its days of fame. At some point in 2017, everybody was using it. The Mortar was very OP. It was even used to win a big tournament, but with many complaints about it, it got nerfed, and the usage rate went from 25% to a staggering 0.9%. I gotta admit, I see the Expo much more than the Mortar, and considering that they're both on this list, they're great cards, but most decks don't carry them. The Tesla. This card right here was one of my favorites when the Royal Giant first became OP. I remember having the same deck twice, one with the cannon and the other with the Tesla. And let's be honest here, last May, everybody was using the Royal Giant. And if you weren't, you were probably using Double Pack of Prince. Those were the two most popular decks at the time. The Tesla is one of many buildings in the game, but the past few months, it hasn't been looking so great, and Supercell hasn't done anything about it. I really wish the Tesla was a bit better though, maybe have it the same ability as the Electro Wizard. You know, like attack 2 troops at once. But until it gets fixed, the Tesla currently sits at 0.9%. The Barbarian Hut. This building is the most expensive in the game. It costs the same as a Lava Hound, and I think that's the problem. But like I've mentioned in previous videos, is there actually a real fix to it? I mean, if you decrease the cost, it may become a little bit too powerful. So what happens if you increase the barbarians it spawns? Well, the same thing happens. It's one of those cards that didn't really age well after spawner decks were killed. So this leaves it at a 0.9% usage rate. But the good thing about the Barbarian Huts is that it spawns 2 mini tanks continuously. I mean, not mini tanks, you guys know what I mean, barbarians, but they tank pretty well for smaller troops. And if you ignore the Barbarian Hut, it can be deadly. And finally, closing in at the last one, we have the Bomb Tower. I remember back when Clash Royale first came out, I loved the Bomb Tower. It almost feels like it was my favorite card. Probably because spawner decks were big, and this was an awesome counter. But taking a look at the Bomb Tower in mid-2017, it's the least used card in the entire game. Now, if you use the Bomb Tower, it doesn't mean you shouldn't. If I were you, I would still continue to use it. Every card on this list is great, it just depends on what deck you use it in. But I think the main problem with the Bomb Tower is it's 5 elixir and it can't target air. But I don't think you can make the Bomb Tower shoot air anyways, because if they did, it would ruin the meta. It would be the same exact thing as adding a Wizard Tower. So this puts the Bomb Tower at a very low 0.8%. So guys, that is pretty much it for the top 10 least used cards in the game. Please keep in mind the stats in this video change over time, and if you guys want to go ahead and keep yourselves updated, I'll leave the link below for the website to check it out. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really do hope you guys enjoyed. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Tell me what you guys think below in the comment section beside too. See you on the next one. Peace!